Oh, new cute hair. I just got my hair cut. So freaking cute. Eager and unashamed. I don't think the race is over, baby. $5, baby blues. $5, baby. I like singing like I like painting, but I'm prioritizing painting right now. This is a video for you poor artists out there like me. You ain't got no money? Me neither. I got a little bit of money. I'm good at saving, but overall I tend to be a little bit of a cheapskate. I save my money. I tend to get cheaper things and more expensive things unless I really need the expensive thing or it's better long term, like it's gonna last longer or be better for my art or whatever. But overall, I don't want to spend that money. I don't want to spend that money. I'd rather be buying food with it. I want some French fries. I have found a couple ways to make things a lot cheaper for me when it comes to my painting hobby or side hustle now that it is. I'm trying to like build up this business. And one of the things that I've come to realize about art is that, you know, a lot of artists when they're buying their materials, they'll go online, they'll go the local art store. But one of the stores that I personally love when it comes to buying art materials is one you don't think of often. Hardware stores rule for painting materials. Not necessarily for paint, but there's a couple little things that I've found out from my good friend Home Depot that can really diminish the cost of your painting supplies. I have 3 super cheap Home Depot art hacks for you. The first one, I actually originally got the idea from Robin Sealark, who's an awesome artist and YouTuber who I've been following for years. It is, oh, getting one of these. This is a piece of MDF board from Home Depot. So what I love about this is that I've seen art boards and art panels for sale at like local art stores or whatever or online, and they're individually wrapped in cellophane and have like an individual little packaging thing about the company. And it costs like, I don't know, depending on the size, $3 to $10 for small to medium sized one. But if you want a big one of these, like they're expensive. Guess how much this cost me? $7.42 from Home Depot. It's 4 feet by 2 feet. $7.42. And what I do, if you can see, is I draw these little lines on there. I figure out what sizes of panels I want and I draw them all on my board. What I do is after I buy it and I line out all the panel sizes I want, I give it to my fiance and she cuts it up. I'll cut it up too sometimes. She's just better at straight lines than me. I struggle with power tools, where she's an expert at power tools. I'll have her go through and I'll cut everything. She's got a little jigsaw that she uses for it, and I think a table saw too, but takes her little jigsaw, cuts out my little pieces, and then hands me a little stack, and I have literally tons and tons of little panels for $7.42. I think here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 37. Let me get my calculator. $7.42 divided by... what did I say? 37. So approximately each panel costed me 20 cents each. Pennies for a whole art panel that normally if you got it at like a craft store would be at least a couple dollars and probably more. The bigger ones are more pricey, and some of the little ones you can't even really find. They're hard to find in arts and craft stores, tiny little panels. So this way I make my own. I do it so cheap. I'm in total control of all the sizes I want. I can even make like circle ones or weird shape ones. It's so awesome and it's so inexpensive. So after I have my little stack, I'll sand them down a little bit with just a little bit of sandpaper to make sure they're pretty smooth. And then I'll take my gesso. Because I do oil painting, I put an acrylic base layer on everything that I paint on because I don't want the oil seeping into the wood. Take my gesso, put like 3 layers of gesso on there, and I have these gorgeous little panels. Bam! You put a little gesso on it and ready to paint. This is honestly almost all I paint on. I paint on canvases sometimes when I find them for cheap, but I like making painting an inexpensive hobby for me. So that's my first art hack originally from Robin Sealark, who rules. You should check her out. Tip number 2. I get people asking me about this all the time because I'll post pictures of my painting studio, which I have like my desk and my shelves back here. I get questions every once in a while about where I get my shelves. And guess what? Home Depot again. These are actually not shelves at all. They're molding for floors and walls. You see that? It's like this little right-angled piece of wood that you put at like the bottom of things or to cover things up. And so I go, actually, that's another thing my fiance did for me. She takes it, she'll screw one little nail into the wall and do it on a couple edges, and you have a whole line of shelving. And the cool thing about it is that it's super low profile. It only goes out about 1 inch. So that means you can put it anywhere without it taking up too much room. So it doesn't extend far at all, so I still have all this workspace. This is $1.72 per square foot. So say you want to do like a little 2-foot shelf to put right next to your little desk that you work at. 1.72 times 2, $3.50 for a cute little 2-foot shelf that's super easy to install. Two little screws, and you're done. So I was looking at online for shelves that are also low profile that you can purchase that are like small and might be good for paintings. And I found a couple, and one in particular was from Urban Outfitters. I'll put a picture of it right here. And it's $30 for 2 feet. And it looks really nice, it's really pretty, but like minimalist and utilitarian and not $30. It is 1/10 of that. So up to you. It is like simple and more industrial looking, but I really like it. I like that it's a minimalist look, and I'm really into this light wood color, so it kind of fits with everything I do. So recommend that for displaying your paintings. If you have paintings like stacked up on the floor, as I have had in the past, it doesn't feel as good as seeing them all displayed on the wall. So a little shelving unit makes your studio space feel so good and so cozy and makes you feel like a real legit artist. You are a real legit artist, but there's a couple things, I know this because I have imposter syndrome. Some things just make you feel like, wow, I'm legitimate. Wow, I'm a big girl artist. So that's one of those things, and I recommend it because it's really cute. Tip number 3 uses the exact same material, molding, for what can be really scary and overwhelming for artists, which is framing. Once you've made your piece and you love it, you can kind of just display it however, but having it framed and looking it so professional is amazing and actually increases the value of your painting. It looks nicer and more viable. Framing can be important depending where you are at, whether you're just wanting to display your work or whether you're trying to sell it and wanting to offer framing as an option for people. Framing is the kind of expensive that you can't even really find prices for it online because every framing place requires you to get a quote. Like you have to send all your information about what you want to be framed to actually get a price back, which I wasn't gonna do because I don't want to bother these custom framers time and be like, just kidding, this was for a video. Trying to avoid giving you business, ha ha ha. So I couldn't really find an exact price if you took your painting to a custom framer. From what I can glean, it's like maybe like $50 for like a smallish piece. And like for Michaels, if you were gonna get something like this framed at Michaels, I think it was like $60, but I've heard terrible things about getting things framed at Michaels. But if you're kind of handy and on a budget, you can use molding for framing. It's so cool. So actually, me and my fiance kind of came up with this idea together because she does woodworking and is really talented at it. And what we did is we took this molding and took 4 pieces of it and had like a little, 45-degree angle to put them together, and then put them like this. So we had 4 pieces. She took one little staple, stapled them in the back. I don't know if you can see those little holes. She stapled it, sanded the staple down, put a little wood glue just so that it stays together perfectly, and then a tiny bit of wire, tiny, And I have this beautiful frame now. Just so gorgeous. This cute little painting I did of me and her. So this smaller molding is, I think it's 78 cents a foot. So if you have an 8" by 8" piece and you want an 8" by 8" frame, maybe like this big, to frame it like this, it's gonna cost about $2. So making your own frames takes the time, but if you have the time for a frame that costs $2, that's amazing. And even like big frames can be hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And if you do a big frame using this method, 15 bucks maybe for like a 2 foot by 3 foot piece. Huge and so cheap. Painting can be a really expensive hobby. Like if you get deep into it, there's a lot of costly things. I used to do a lot of drawing, and drawing is a cheap hobby. Drawing's cheap. You got paper, you got a pencil, that's all you need. But when you get into painting and have all these materials you need, it gets pricey. So there are ways to get it cheaper, and Home Depot is a place where you can get creative and DIY some things. Beautiful minimalist frames, shelving, panels to paint on. It's the best. So those are my cheap Home Depot hacks. I hope they're helpful to you. Other artists out there who are trying to make art on a budget, just like me, especially if you're trying to make art a business like I am, the more costs you can bring down, the better. If you have any other Home Depot art hacks that you know of, send them my way. I love them. I'd love to do another video about some more hacks in the future. Spreading like little ideas of knowledge within the art community could help out so many people. So you got info, send it to me. I'll give info to you. We'll create this community. We're all supporting each other. It's beautiful. It's positive. It's feel good, warm, fuzzy feelings. I have a bunch of other videos about painting. I do painting tutorials, I paint clouds and waves and sometimes trees. If you like the stuff I do, you can follow me on Instagram. I'm also on Facebook. I've got bunches of, well, I'm starting my channel, so I don't have that many painting videos yet, but I have like 15, 16. I'm getting there. It's something I'm working on to promote my business, and it's very fun. Follow me if you feel like. Subscribe if you feel like, no pressure. I hate when people pressure you to subscribe. No pressure. You feel like it? Great. You don't feel like it? Great. Totally, girl. Don't worry about it. Same with liking. You feel like it? Great. If you don't, no stress. None at all. Low pressure. This is a low pressure, positive environment. And anyway, I'll see you next time.